Today, I'm going to run through a set of decision-making questions and show you basically how I do the questions live, how I construct some of my diagrams, and what I'm looking for when I'm going through the sections. So I've got the AI to generate me a mini question set with 2 questions from each question type, and we'll get straight into it. So we're starting off with the syllogisms, and here we go. In a certain town, every resident owns a bicycle or a scooter. Everyone's either a teacher or a student. Most teachers ride scooters, but all other teachers and all students ride bicycles. It's always good to sort of put things down in a diagram before you get into the 5 answer options. So essentially have most people riding this, residents will ride a scooter or a bike. Most sort of teachers are here, but then the remaining teachers and all the students will be riding a bicycle. Okay. You can write sort of most along this passage, but I generally wouldn't. And I'm sort of hoping my face isn't covering where that diagram is. All right. All teachers who ride scooters own scooters. Okay, so there's a difference. We have to pay attention to the wording here. So that's probably a yes. Any resident who rides a bicycle must be a student would be yes. Some students own scooters would be no. Just because if you own a scooter, that means you can't own a bicycle, but then they ride the bicycle. So you can sort of imply that they own it. No teacher who owns a scooter rides a bicycle. I guess you can say yes. There are more bicycle owners than scooter owners. I think that's no, because we don't know the number of teachers and students. So yes, yes, no for that one. I better sort of just type this in so I can check it. Yes, yes, no, yeah, yes, no. All right, next one. Every participant studied 2 languages. No male participant studies 3. Okay, so no female does only Italian would be yes, because they have to do at least 2. Every male does exactly 2 would be yes, at least 2, but none of them 3. Well, one thing we have to look out for is sometimes they do a trick where there could be other languages than these 3, but I think that's yes. More females than males study 3 would be yes. Ooh, could be they could both be 0. So that's an interesting one. It doesn't have to be yes, but maybe it is yes. At least one male and female study the same 2 languages. So imagine all the females studied Italian and Mandarin, all the males did Mandarin and Arabic. So that would be no. Every participant studies at least 2 would be yes. This one's a bit sort of up to interpretation, I guess. We'll see what the answers say. Honestly, if this was an actual UCAT question not generated by AI, I'd probably put no, because they could all sort of study 2, if that makes sense, and there could be 0 females studying all 3. So that one's probably no. Okay. We have 4 cats. Luke and Max cannot be fed together. Oscar is fed in the evening. So let's say you have AM and PM. So Oscar is in the evening. Bella's fed twice a day. So both. Max shares his morning meal with another cat. No other cats eat together. So it's Max and Bella in the morning. Okay. So Oscar is Max's breakfast companion. Oscar is fed more than once a day. The pet sitter feeds at least 5 times a day. Bella is fed alone at least once a day. So we have D as the answer there. All right. 5 friends each win a different prize. So we'll just sketch out the names of the 5 friends. The book was not won by a girl, so sort of up to interpretation which names this might be. So let's say the book can't be Priya, Zoe, or Mia. Zoe and Priya, the headphones were not, so headphones were not Zoe or Mia. Sorry, Zoe and Priya. Backpack didn't go to Zoe or Mia. Backpack was neither of these 2. Sam was happy to win the board game. Okay. What did Zoe win? So then it's the only thing that's left, basically, which is the mug. So it's important just to have a way of notating what's not in that category as well as what is in that category. Right. Should cities ban cars from downtown areas to reduce air pollution? So that's the goal. Banning cars will directly lower pollution and make the air cleaner. That's pretty good. It'll make the city centre quieter, irrelevant. Some people need cars. Doesn't mention air pollution. Public transport, not mentioned. So you want something that mentions sort of the purpose of the argument and then doesn't have these added words. So, public transport might seem feasible, but it's not mentioned in the STEM. Should all high school students be required to learn coding? Coding skills are increasingly important in modern careers. Coding can, generally a sign of a weaker statement, improve logical thinking. Not all students are interested in technology. Again, technology is different to coding. No, schools may not have enough resources to teach coding. And again, may is sort of a problematic one. So that one's probably A is the answer. All right. Hospital conducted a study on patient admissions during winter months. So you can tell this is AI generated because we're now in January. Okay, 120 RESP, 90 RESP, 70 over 65, 30 were under the age of 18. 20 of these repeat, but in both months. Okay, it's probably worth just sketching some of this down, right? So with January, we have sort of 100 patients. Well, so 120, and Feb we have 90. Of the January ones, 70 were over 65, which means 50 were under 65. February was 30 were under 18. Okay. 40 were admitted more than once. 20 of these were repeat admissions in both months. Okay, that won't be hard to put in a diagram. I just have to memorize that. More patients over 65 were admitted in January, so that was 70, than under 18 in February, which was 30. That's yes. At least 210 unique admissions occurred. That's no, because there's repeat admissions. Some patients admitted more than once in both months. It's yes. The number of repeat admissions in Lanyon could be less than 20. Across 40 were admitted more than once. 20 of these repeat admissions were in both months. What I'm interpreting that to mean is, like, let's say if someone comes in January and February, like that's a multiple admission. But then to be repeat admissions were in both months. Does that mean they were both January, and February, or just one of those two? So I'll probably skip this and come back to it. Let's say yes, but we'll come back to it. There were few RESP admissions in February than January was yes. Okay, so sort of highlight this one. All right, university library tracked the borrowing habits of students over semester. 250 borrowed fiction, 180 was non-fiction. 80 borrowed both, okay? I think that's about right. Among those who borrowed only fiction, 60% more borrowed more than 3. Among those borrowed, okay. At least 80 students borrowed both fiction and non-fiction. So at least 80. I think that includes 80. 170 students borrowed only fiction. I guess that's yes. More students borrowed fiction than non-fiction. Yes. Some students borrowed neither fiction or non-fiction. Yes. Oops. Yes. Fewer than 180 students borrowed only non-fiction. Yes. Okay. You never get all yeses in the actual UCAT, but we'll see. We'll see what that says. In a group of 35 students, 18 play piano, 15 guitar, 8 play both. How many play neither? All right. If you're sharp, you can probably do this in your head, but I'm not going to take the risk, and I'm just going to do it like this. So 18, 25, so it's 10 play neither. All right, so that one's A. How many people like neither? Okay, so then what you can do, so like if 30 like hiking, and then you can sort of just get like minus the both from this. So then you can work out cycling only is 10. So then 30 hiking, cycling only is 10. So that's 40. So there's 15 left. So if you wanted to do it in your head, you can. A bakery offers cakes with up to 2 different toppings. If a new topping on produce is 6 the number of extra cake varieties. I think, okay, let's just say you can have 2 different toppings. It sort of depends on how many toppings you already have, which is the issue with this question. Let's say you have like 3 toppings. So you can have topping A, topping B, topping C as individuals. Then you can have A, B, you can have AC, and you can have BC. Now, if you introduce a new topping and you have topping D, now your new toppings can be D by itself and then D with each of these 3 things. If that makes sense. DA, DB, and DC. So then there'll be 4 new toppings. And so maybe C is the answer there. But it's not like that's clearly an incorrect question because I've just assumed out of thin air that there was 3 toppings choices, and they should probably specify that in the question. Sarah surveyed 12 classmates and found that 8 prefer online. She's stated that 2/3 of all students prefer online. Is Sarah's statement justified? Probably not. Is it because the sample size is small or because her classmates may not represent all students? Probably both. I think the strongest one is D. Again, the AI answer might be unreliable here. All right, let's bounce back to the one that I sort of was stuck on earlier. So if 20 were repeat admissions in both months, that makes me think they presented in January twice and February twice. So then it's probably no, but let's just see what the answer says. All right. By popular demand, I've actually included answers here, but half of them will be wrong because it's AI generated. All right, so let's have a look. Yes, no, no, yes, 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 no, yes. So what I put? So I put yes, no, no, yes, yes. All right, so they said no to this one, but I think that has to. Oh no, that one is no. Whoops. Because any resident who owns a bicycle, it can be a teacher because there's some teachers, and I had that in my diagram as well. Yes, no, no, yes, yeah, yeah, and this one is no. Okay. The second one, yes, 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 no, yes. I think I had DBAA. Okay, D B A A. Right, so yeah, all yeses in a second no. Good. And then all yeses I had. 3 A's and a D to finish off. A. Yeah, that one's just wrong. And D. Okay. So reasonable performance. That was definitely a fixable one with this one here. I mean, not only did it have the word must, but that was also like fairly easy to tell that it says some teachers ride bicycles. So that was a gettable one. And maybe if I had, depending on how much time I have, I generally do review the yes, no questions because they're the easiest ones to make like easy partials. Whereas with a logical puzzle, it's a bit more black and white whether you get it right or wrong. Hopefully you found that helpful. Let me know if you have any questions about this. The next thing to do, though, is to click the link in the description because every week I publish a new PDF discussing strategies in each section. So that can be verbal reasoning, skipping strategies, pre-selection strategies, what diagrams to do for decision-making. The place for all those resources for free is just if you fill out the link in the description, and it's just 1 email a week with a free PDF to help you with your UCAT. Let me know if you've got any questions. Otherwise, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all next week.